Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel and happy Halloween. In today's video I'm going to be telling you about an anything but ordinary little girl with a deadly secret. This is Weird World episode 2. Enjoy. Maybe you've seen the movie Orphan. The movie Orphan it's actually one of my favourites. It is so good, and the story that I am about to tell you about has a freakishly similar amount of details in it to the movie. Orphan stars Vera Farmiga and Isabella Fuhrman. Isabella plays a little girl from Russia named Esther who's adopted by Kate, Vera's character, and not all is as it seems. Esther starts to show alarming signs of behaviour. She threatens her adopted sister, who's deaf, her adopted older brother, she sets fires, murders people, and tries to seduce her stepfather. This movie came out in 2009, and the story that I'm about to tell you guys about came out in 2010, so that was only like a few months of a gap between this movie being launched and this story taking place. Starting from the beginning, it is April 22nd, 2010, and Christine and Michael Burnett, the Burnett family, were in the process of adopting a little girl from Haiti, but that was around the same time that the massive earthquake shook Haiti and many lives were lost. I don't really know if the little girl's life was lost, but the paperwork definitely fell through in the adoption.
It's being called a catastrophe of major proportions. The Caribbean island nation of Haiti has been rocked by its biggest earthquake in more than 200 years.
This was obviously really traumatic for Michael and Christine because imagine being told that you're going to get this little girl, you're going to give her everything that you ever wanted, and all of a sudden she's not available anymore and you can't have her. You know, your heart's going to be broke, just like she would be your own. Randomly, the Burnett family were contacted by an agency in Florida who cold called them. And cold called them, for anybody that doesn't know, basically means that there was no way that this agency was given their information by any other agency. Something like that is private and it should be like your choice, your personal choice. So they had randomly got a hold of their information, contacted them, said, "Hello, we have a little girl here. She's 6 years old. She's from Ukraine. She's lived in the USA for 2 years now," which meant she lived in Ukraine for 4, "and her name is Natalia Grace." Due to what the Burnetts had just been through, this was kind of like a sign. Now, they knew it was weird that this company just randomly contacted them, but I suppose in their kind of, fragile state of mind, they thought, oh my god, this is meant to be. We have to go see this little girl. And they did. When the Burnetts showed up at the adoption agency, they were given very limited information. Like, they were given her age, her name, where she was from, blah, blah, blah. But they were given additional information that she had a disability. So she had dwarfism, which was obviously something to consider because that was a huge responsibility, taking care of a 6-year-old little girl with a disability. Obviously, the Burnetts had questions for the agency about Natalia, but they weren't given a lot in return. Like, I don't really think the agency knew much about this little girl. She just appeared. Just before the Burnetts met Natalia, they were given the information that she had just been previously returned by her last adopted family. So you would think that this little girl would be slightly shy and uncomfortable around new people, probably finding it difficult to trust people after what just happened to her. But as soon as she came running out, she started shouting, "Mummy, Daddy, Mummy, Daddy," which is cute, but kind of strange considering we know our circumstances. Referring back to Natalia's dwarfism, when Christine and Michael were leaving the agency, they had noticed that Natalia struggled to walk, so she was kind of walking to the side. Like, her feet were turned in, she was kind of walking to the side but walking forward. So that was something that Christine kind of picked up on and obviously knew motherly duties were going to be a little bit extra than it would be for a little girl that didn't have that, which she was fine with. You know, why wouldn't you be? As soon as Natalia returned home with the Burnetts to her new family, she was introduced to the 3 other boys. So there was one of 6, one of 9, and one of 11. And she was made to feel at home immediately. They'd done everything that a little 6-year-old girl would dream of. They took her to Disneyland, they dressed her as a princess, they had her bedroom all set, everything was so cute, and she was going to be given the life that she deserved. They planned so many trips with Natalia, and one of them was to the beach, but something strange happened that Christine picked up on immediately, and this kind of left her shook. During this visit to the beach, Christine and Michael had done everything. Like, they were exhausted. They'd been running around. It was sunny. Florida, like, it's going to be boiling. And they just needed a little moment's rest. But Natalia had said, you know, I want to go swimming. Can you carry me to the ocean? I want to go in. And Michael and Christine said, oh, you know, we will. Like, just give us a little minute. Immediately, Natalia got up and raced towards the ocean. Like, she just full on bolted towards the ocean. And Christine was so taken aback because this was a little girl that could barely walk when they were leaving the agency. So what happened there? Like, how all of a sudden could she go from not being able to walk properly to being an Olympic star? That wasn't the only thing that was strange. Later on, I don't know whether it was that night, but at some point, Christine was giving Natalia a bath. Obviously, when you're 6, your bath time is monitored by an adult so that they make sure that you wash in between your toes, your hair, you know, so you don't drown. Michael, the father, who was somewhere else in the house, recalls hearing Christine shout, Michael, like, really kind of panicked, like there was panic in her voice. And Michael came into the bathroom and Christine was just standing in shock looking down. And she said, look, kind of like in a whispered, shocked voice. Michael, you know, looked at Natalia, looked down, and Natalia's private parts had full-on, full-grown pubic hair, which for a 6-year-old little girl was not right. Obviously, everybody watching this video, as well as Michael and Christine, were very well aware that puberty didn't start until maybe age 12, 13. So for this to happen, this couldn't make any sense. They were both in shock. It was very apparent that at this point, this little girl could not be 6. Like, there's no way that she could be sitting there, already hit puberty, and be 6 years old. Something else about Natalia that was quite odd was that she was never really watching kids shows or TV programs or wanting to spend any time with children. She always wanted to spend time with adults, which, okay, I'll give her that, because when I was younger, I loved to spend time with adults, so I get that. But she would also hit out with sophisticated words, so like huge sentences strung together that obviously a little 6-year-old girl couldn't do unless you were Matilda. This was also alarming to the Burnett's because how did she know this? They weren't teaching her these things. So just to further make Natalia feel part of the family had a family friend who was from Ukraine. So they brought her over and introduced her to Natalia just to make her kind of feel, I guess, more welcome. Like, maybe there was like a slight distance that the Burnett's didn't understand Slovakian, which was Natalia's native language. So when this friend came over, she starts talking Slovakian, and Natalia's just looking at her with a full-on blank expression, like she's not responding to anything this person's saying. And it was very apparent that this little girl had no idea what this person was saying. Did she speak Slovakian or not? Because you would be able to respond. Remember, she spent 4 years of her life in Ukraine, so that would be her first language she would speak. Putting that aside, the Burnetts also arranged a play date for Natalia with another little girl that had dwarfism. So while Michael and Christine were supervising, they're looking at these 2 little girls playing on the floor, and Natalia appears different than the other little girls. So obviously with this disability, your body has different proportions and different shapes. While the children were playing, they noticed that Natalia's head was a little bit bigger and a different shape than the other little girls. Her body was also different shaped, a little bit bigger, almost like a more grown version of this little girl. At this point, it gets extra weird. I've already told you guys what the Burnetts came across during bath time with Natalia, but after that, Christine started to find underwear and tampons used that were not hers. And again, she only had boys. It wasn't Michael's, so it could only be Natalia's. And this was obviously clear that this little girl who was 6 years old was not 6 years old. She had reached her period, which doesn't happen until you're 12 and 13. So alarms started ringing in Christine's mind. At this point, she was 100% positive that this little girl wasn't who she said she was. So if your heart hasn't dropped and you haven't started panicking for Christine and Michael at this point, then you're about to. So after the playdate incident and the tampon finding situation, Natalia gets crazy. She goes on the biggest tantrum and does not speak to them for 4 days. Like, totally blanks them. Not one word. After these 4 days of silence are up, this is when Natalia goes bonkers. Obviously at this point Natalia is on to Christine and Michael, who know fine well that she's not a 6-year-old girl. Like, something is shady here. Either she's possessed or she's not saying who she says she is. And Christine recalls seeing, and I don't want to get into detail at this point, but sees Natalia spreading her bodily fluids on the walls, just smearing them everywhere. She also came across Natalia attacking her younger baby brother through one of those little like baby monitors. Christine could hear what was going on. She also would hide knives, sharp objects under her bed. Christine was like obviously like cleaning up her room one day, lifted up the bed and found all of these knives, all of these, I suppose, weapons, everything that had been going missing from the house. Natalia had took and hid in her bedroom. Once they like took all of this stuff back, they actually ended up having to hide everything and lock things away from Natalia so that she could not reach them and gain access to them. Natalia wasn't even trying to hide the fact that she was trying to harm the Burnett's. She was seen pouring bleach or window lean, something like to clean windows, into Christine's coffee, and when Christine seen her and confronted her, she just said, "Oh, just trying to kill you. Just trying to kill you." And most people would be like, "Oh my god, you're crazy, you're going back," which I don't know, which is probably what happened with the last family that returned Natalia, but Christine being Christine thought, you know what, like, this little girl's obviously like having a rough time settling in, if you say that. She's obviously been given the wrong age. She doesn't, I don't know, speak much. Are we, I suppose, pissing her off? It didn't stop there though, because Natalia had started bonding with the 3 boys. She had learned that the youngest, who was 6, loved cows. Like, loved them, was obsessed with them. Every child was obsessed with something, and this child was obsessed with cows. So he had lots of little cow ornaments and toys, cute stuff like that. The middle child, who was 9, was obsessed with cars, like, loved them. Same situation, but with a car. And the oldest, who was actually only 11, but was, I don't know, some genius, because he attended university, which, okay, let's just skip high school, let's go straight from primary school to university. I wish that was the case for me, but it wasn't. So that child obviously had a lot of homework. Natalia learned that all of these things were very, very important to these children. And one day when Christine and Michael went down to visit their eldest son, who was at university, obviously Florida is full of like busy roads and everything like that, Natalia had gathered up all of these favourite things from these children, and when they went to cross the road, she would launch everything up in the air so that obviously these children would not be aware of the danger of running onto a road to grab their favourite possessions. Obviously to an adult like me and you, if something goes on a road, we're kind of like, oh crap, like that's that gone, like I'm never getting that back. But to these children, they thought, oh my god, like that's it, gone forever. They would run on. So this was causing like severe problems for Christine, because she was trying to murder their children. That's probably like really overstepping the boundaries when it comes to a mother and father, because you're putting their children in danger, like line crossed. But when they returned home that night, Christine and Michael contacted a psychiatrist, and some things were going to happen in the next upcoming few days. But that very night, Christine and Michael woke up with Natalia hanging over their bed. Sometimes this was normal. So sometimes Natalia would, I don't know if you call it sleepwalk, but she would randomly appear in their bedroom and watch them while they're sleeping. So when they woke up, they would kind of be like, oh my god, like, Natalia, what are you doing? Like, come into bed with us. So this one night, Natalia's standing over them, but she's not alone. She's holding a knife. And Michael was the one to first see Natalia with the knife. They were just glad that the psychiatrist was getting involved. Natalia fully admitted that she was trying to murder the Burnetts. She was going to kill the whole family. Like, it was no secret. She was planning to. It wasn't anything she was trying to hide. The psychiatrist involved obviously realised that this little girl had a lot more going on in her head than the average 6-year-old. So once she realised that she was put on a psychiatric hold, this really pissed her off even further. She was so angry at the Burnetts that they had done this to her. She couldn't believe it. And she was, lightly put, gunning for them. During this psychiatric hold, Natalia was also tested on to see why this little girl was developing so fast, why she had reached puberty, why she had pubic hair, why she looked different from that other little 6-year-old girl, all of these things. And the results came back, and the Burnett family could not prepare for what they were about to hear. This little 6-year-old girl that they had adopted was not, in fact, 6 years old. She was 22 years old. This little girl that they had been raising was an adult and had been pretending to be this little girl. It was all an act. After Natalia's true identity was exposed and she was released from this psychiatric ward, she got an apartment, but it was paid for by the Burnetts. Even though she didn't want anything to do with them, they were still legally her carer. There was a new birth certificate being printed currently, so they still had like that legal tie to take care of her. So during that meantime, respecting Natalia's wishes and not having anything to do with each other, they hired a home help for Natalia. While obviously still being under the care of the Burnetts, Natalia has several boxes that she had to tick while finding this apartment. So the apartment had to be close to a bus station, it had to be close to a medical facility, it had to be close to a grocery store. The home help was there to make sure that Natalia was able to take care of herself. I mean, she was 22, so I think she should be, but it was clear that Natalia knew how to tidy up, how to hoover, clean, put her clothes away, do all of this. She was living the life of an adult. At this point, one of the eldest sons of the Burnetts family, who is 15 now, has been given an amazing opportunity down in Canada, and he's to move down there for university. You know, as I said, he's like really, really clever, so things are like taking off for him. But the Burnetts realise, you know, you're still really young, I don't think you can do this by yourself, we're coming with you. They pack up everything, they actually give a lot of their possessions away. I don't know whether this family is like quite wealthy or not, but they give most of their stuff away. And at the exact same time, Natalia's lease is up on the apartment that they found for her. So Christine goes with her to find a new one. Again, I don't know why these people are so patient with this little girl. Like, she's not even a little girl, oh my god. But I don't know why they're so patient. Like, I would have exploded by now. But such things as legal documents are tying this family to this adult. So Christine is on the hunt for a new apartment. Again, all the same boxes have to be ticked. They make sure that it's done. The home help comes and visits, makes sure she's doing everything she's supposed to, blah blah blah. Life is fine. And they don't hear from Natalia for a further 6 years. So during this 6 years, a lot happened. Obviously, the new birth certificate was printed. It was proven 3 times that this little girl wasn't a little girl. She had been given 3 different birth certificates to prove this. So, you know, there was no excuse for anybody to believe that just because she was little, she was a child. The Burnetts had actually divorced, so a lot had changed in that amount of time. They get a knock at the door, and it's the police. And they tell the Burnetts, you're under arrest. And obviously in their mind, they're like, oh my god, like, what are you talking about? Like, we've not done anything illegal. And they said, yes, you have. You have left a child by themselves. You are being charged with neglect of a child. It is confused as me and you right now, because as I said, this little girl is not a little girl. She is a full adult. So why are people constantly believing this lie? I don't know. As I said, there's a lot of information that hasn't been given out yet, so there must be some tie or some strange thing that's happened. Natalia's birth mother comes forward and says, oh my god, my baby was a child when you left her. Okay, one to talk, but I'll leave it at that. But basically, she said that at the time the Burnetts left Natalia, she was something like 14 years old, which is illegal, obviously, to leave a child by themselves. But again, these 3 birth certificates had said 3 different ages. So the Burnetts were under the impression that Natalia was 22 years old, which, fast forwarding 2 years later, would have made perfect sense. This how long this case has been going on for. And Natalia right now would be 30, which did make her 22 years old when they left her. So I don't know what kind of like weird situation or weird tie there is in there. Something shady's going on, but again, it's not released to the public, so I don't know. But why do they keep believing that this adult who's 30 years old is a child? Like, yes, she might give the appearance of one when she dresses up like one, but The documents say otherwise. Due to this situation, the Burnetts are facing quite a long time in prison, but Michael is 100% sure. I don't know whether this is just like he kind of covered up for some confidence, but he's sure he's not going to prison, as well as Christine. Like, they are not guilty of anything as long as the police follow the paperwork that's given, which I don't know why they would now because I've never done it before, but he's sure he's not going to jail. But I think somewhere deep down he's probably panicking.
I don't believe that's going to happen. The charges are very easy for us to defend. Fact is, Natalia, not once, not twice, but 3 times in American court in 2012, 2013, and 2017 has been adjudicated and ruled to be a fully grown adult.
Really hope that justice is served for the Burnetts, because this is totally unfair. Like, to me, it kind of goes all the way back to the beginning with this cold call from this agency. Like, something shady happened there. Were they involved? Because they should have done the background research on this little girl as well as the Burnett family, and they never. So it was clear that they never done their research properly. So were they in on it, or were they just as oblivious as everybody else? Who knows? But I really hope that you guys enjoyed this story. I'm wishing the Burnetts lots of luck here, because this is totally an unfair situation. I hope you guys have the best Halloween. I hope it's really spooky. I just hope nothing like this ever happens to you. If you did enjoy this video, then please give it a thumbs up. It would mean so much to me. And if you haven't yet already, then subscribe, because guess what's out already? That's right, Weird World Episode 3. Happy Halloween, you guys, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!